Just
All right.
me.
I think we are officially recording now. So, intro.
Intro.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 4 of the Tina and Anderson show. If you guys are still watching us, episode 4, thank you for coming back, watching another episode. We really appreciate it, and we really appreciate the love in our community that we've been getting from people who know us, who know about this podcast and who have listened, and they say that they enjoy it. Really appreciate it. We're beginners, and we know compared to a lot of podcasts out there's a lot of polishing up we got to do. So thank you guys for still bearing with us and still watching it, and still being encouraging and
Supportive.
and supportive. And I promise you guys, the more and more we do this, the more polished it's going to be, the better it's going to be. And thank you guys again for watching. So for those of you who don't really know us and are watching this, I'm Anderson. It's my wife, Tina. We are married, been married for about 21 years, and we have 3 daughters. And we basically talk about marriage, parenting, financing, and life. And basically, we're not experts. We're not, but we like to talk about our opinion, our experiences, and what we believe works. It might not work for you. That's okay. We definitely are not fans of feminism, and we definitely aren't really big on the red pill. So we're basically go by biblical marriage, traditional biblical marriage. We believe that is the best way because that's how we were created to be. So, yeah. So, anything you want to say before we go on?
Hi.
Okay.
Let's get into it.
You have it from Tina De Silva. All right. So, I know in last episode we talked about divorce. I think we're gonna probably talk about a little bit more today. But I'm gonna go over some statistics. I know basically 50% of marriages end up in divorce.
Which is crazy.
Yeah, they do.
So half of the people that get married get divorced.
And
That's
about
crazy.
80 some, it could be 70 to 80. I guess it fluctuates. 70 to 80% of those marriages is initiated by the woman. And if she is college educated, that percentage goes up to 90%. So basically 50% of marriages, if the woman is college educated, 90% of that is initiated by her. Overall, 70 to 80. That's a lot. And you
Statistics.
can't sit here and say, it's the man's fault. The man, that's what a lot of these women want to say. Oh, the man was toxic. Seriously,
Toxic.
50%. So, okay, let's say 80% of 50%. So that's 40%, right? 40% of the men were toxic. 40% of men in marriages are toxic. Really kind of doubt that. But a lot of times these women, they out themselves on TikTok, on Reddit, and they basically out themselves because they say they leave their men. We talked about this already. They just leave their men for the dumbest reasons. We grew apart, or I just wasn't feeling it anymore, or
Fell out of love.
I got married young and I never got to discover myself. So you break up this marriage, and if you have a kid, you basically destroy a family. You're destroying a family. Look, I know there are women that leave their husbands if they're if I don't want to say toxic. See, it
hate
even
that
gets
word.
me sometimes. If their husband is just abusive, I
Abuse
understand.
is a totally different story.
Physically, mentally abusive, emotionally abusive.
mentally,
I understand.
verbally.
If there's no way to fix, especially, I mean, if he's physically abusive, there's no way to fix it. But if he's mentally or emotionally, and there's no way to fix it, I mean, I understand. You got to get out. It's for your emotional, mental, physical health. I get it. But there are a lot of these guys are great guys, and they're just being left for no reason. We're going to talk about one of them today.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to talk about one of them where it's like, you're just not going to believe why a woman, you just can't believe it. But I guess, so we were at a marriage conference, and there was a video about a woman who had, MS. And the doctor told her husband this, and then doctor said, this is when most people leave. That boggles my mind. If your spouse gets MS, you just divorce them when they need you the most. Obviously, it's not going to be easy, but like, did we marry each other because we knew it was going to be easy?
No.
You know, it's going to be easier if we marry each other, because if we're just boyfriend and girlfriend, it's going to be hard. Let's just marry each other because life will be easier that way.
You definitely do not realize what your marriage is going to go through. Like, for a fact, your marriage is going to go through these things. But if you don't think deeply on that, the beginning of your marriage, you don't realize that you're going to go through in your marriage, for a fact, you're going to go through the death of your parents.
Yeah.
You're going to go, like, there's things that are like, these are definite. Because you're married, this is what you're going to go through.
Right.
And it's like, it's crazy, because if you don't build at the beginning and start building, like, solid foundations, when your marriage starts, because life never stops.
No, I mean,
it's crazy, so it's like things are just going to topple over if you don't understand that, like, the base needs to be sturdy.
Yeah.
And then now your marriage is going to go through all of this stuff, like, for a fact.
Exactly.
And like, you have to ready your marriage to be able to go through those things. And then there's things that, like, you can't ready your marriage for that.
Right.
You don't know that there's going to be an MS diagnosis. You don't know. My father passed away of ALS. My mom didn't know that she was going to be literally keeping him alive for 2 years.
Right.
And, like, the stuff that you don't think of at the beginning, that your marriage is going to have to be strong enough to go through.
Right.
In like the meat of your family and in your marriage. It's that's going to be tough if your marriage isn't sitting on a sturdy foundation when, because life doesn't stop. So
right. I mean, and there are things that would affect both of us.
Yeah.
But there are things that, that would affect you, but just because it affects you doesn't mean it's not affecting me.
Mm-hmm.
If you got hurt, that's going to affect me because you're my wife. Mm-hmm. I can't be like, well, you're the one who got hurt. You have to deal with it.
Yeah.
I don't.
I can't imagine.
That affects both of us.
Yeah, I can't imagine when your spouse needs you the most, you divorce them.
Yeah, unfortunately, it happens.
Probably a lot.
Yeah.
And I mean, I get it because you get scared. You're probably thinking about, like, all the weight that's going to be put on your shoulders. It's not like I don't get that, like, now, right, like, you're scared.
Yeah, because you got to think of your spouse. Like, say your spouse is the one that gets sick, and if you think of leaving, one of the worst things that happens to your spouse happens. They got sick, and they're gonna pass away.
They need help,
and now, and you decide to just abandon them. That's horrible. I can't imagine if I fell ill, knowing there's no cure for my illness, and then my wife decides, you know what, I'm gonna leave you, move on. And so I'm going to die alone?
So this is why I say you cannot be selfish and be married.
Right.
Like, it's impossible, and this is the exact example as to why you need to, when you get married, you have to be ready to, what does it say in the Bible about like leaving oneself and like
you cleave.
yeah, you cleave
yeah.
to your spouse or whatever.
A man leaves his family, cleaves onto his wife.
His wife, yeah. So this is, like, you can't always be thinking of it. And to me, you're just thinking about how your spouse's diagnosis is going to affect you.
Right.
So because you're scared, you leave.
Right.
It just seems a little selfish.
Right. And then if you leave because you feel like, all right, you know what? I thought this person was the one. They're not the one. And you leave, they're going to get a better spouse. Divorce rates increase when it's a second marriage. Mm-hmm. Or even third marriages. It increases. Third marriages have the highest divorce rate, 73%.
It's scary stuff.
So
man.
if first marriages are 50%, second marriages, it doesn't say here. I think second marriages are 67%, and then third marriages are a little bit higher, 73%.
Chance or 73% of third time marriages
end up in divorce. So you're in your second marriage. So all the people that are in their second marriage, 62% of them are going to end up in divorce. And out of all the people that are in their third marriage, 73% are going to end up in divorce. So your chances of a successful marriage decreases the more you get married.
Yeah.
So, with this information, it's like, this is one of the reasons you should make it work. You should try to make it work.
Well, divorce should be the very last option after you have exhausted everything else. Unless, like we said, there's abuse, maybe infidelity.
Yeah.
There's things that are like, this needs to be dealt with right now. But I think there's like a lack of effort, and then on top of a lack of effort to put into your marriage, to put into someone else, there's an abundance of selfishness.
Right.
So you put those two together, and you're not going to have a good outcome.
Yeah, there's a culture of selfishness, and it's all about, what about me? What about my needs? And, when you're into a marriage, it needs to be selfless. I want to make sure, there are things I want to do for me, and there are things she wants to do for her.
Well, yeah, it doesn't say to lose yourself. You're not supposed to lose yourself.
Right.
So,
if there are things I want to do, if things I want to do for me, I got to make sure the things I want to do for me doesn't make me neglect my family. Mm-hmm. I don't want to just go home and then just go to the gym or go mountain biking when, instead of, and then like not see my kids and not see my wife, and then just come home and then go to bed like I living like I'm a single man, and then go hang out with my friend on the weekends. I got to have time with my family. My family comes first. I mean, when you get married, that's what you do.
That's it.
It's so crazy how two people, they get married. They're infatuated with each other. They fall in love. They decide to get married. And then after living with each other for a while, they're just like, oh, this is old now. I just want to do my own thing. Oh, you're getting annoying. It's like
then they start focusing more on like their friend circle.
Right.
Or like their social life.
Right.
And it's, when their focus should clearly be their marriage. And that's not to say you shouldn't have friends and you shouldn't go out, but it's, basically like everything in moderation.
Yeah.
And always be checking yourself.
Right.
Like, am I keeping my marriage and my family first?
Right. Yeah. You got to.
You have to check yourself.
You made a commitment to your family. You made a commitment to your spouse, to your wife, to your husband. You made a commitment when you said, I do. when you decide to spend the rest of your life with this person, you made a commitment. And people, it's like, they have these vows, but it's like in their mind, they're saying, yeah, only if it's convenient.
Yes to all of it, but only if it's convenient.
Or,
for me.
You know what? For better, maybe for worse.
Depends.
For richer, maybe for poorer, maybe.
We'll see.
You know, it's like, you can't be like that. It's like, when you're dating somebody and you want to marry them, you got to think like, at their worst, do I still want to be with them? Is this the person I still want to be with?
Yeah. Like I said, like the stuff you're going to go through together in 20 years.
Yeah.
You're not thinking about that when you're like dating or even when you're engaged.
Yeah. Because
you're not thinking about like all the hard things that you're going to go through together simply because you're married and it's forever.
Yeah. I was talking to this young dude and he was just saying he's dating right now. And he says he does want to get married, but he says, I'm worried about if I marry a girl and then like she ends up like becoming ugly. and I'm like,
well,
what?
You're definitely going to change.
I was like, well, what do you mean? I was like, what do you mean? Like if she stuffs her face with cake every day and just blows up to become one of the 600-pound sisters, or if she's in a free car accident and she gets third-degree burns on her face. Like, what do you mean? I mean,
that's having like a warped vision of what marriage is. Because
if you're dating a girl in the hopes that the way she looks when you get married, that's how she gonna look 60 years from now. Don't get married.
Yeah.
I was like, don't get married until that vision you have of marriage is like gone, because it's not about that, man. Obviously, as men, we are attracted. We see the pretty girl, and that's what we go to. We don't go, you know what? Not that attractive, but she might have a good personality. Let me go talk to her. We don't think like that. We don't.
Men
don't.
Yeah.
We see a girl that we are attracted to, that we believe is pretty, and we say, wow, she's really pretty. Let me go talk to her. See if she has a good personality.
Right. That's the process.
Yeah. That's how men. I know some girls do that, but sometimes girls, if they meet a nice guy and he's not the greatest looking guy, but he's like really nice, girls are different like that. But guys are like, no, first I gotta be attracted to her.
Well, I think
physically.
I think it's both ways. I think it's important to be attracted to your spouse. You know?
Yeah. I mean,
you have to roll over and look at this person every single morning for the rest of your life. I really hope you're attracted to him.
Right. So as your spouse changes, we don't look the same we did when we were younger, but we're still attracted to each other.
Yes. We yeah.
I am too.
We went through like teens together. Like we were 12 and 13 when we met.
Yeah.
So we've been through like I know 16-year-old Anderson. I know 20-year-old Anderson. I know 30-year-old Anderson. All of them looked completely different.
Yeah. 16-year-old Anderson was a punk.
Yeah. 16-year-old Anderson was
20-year-old
rough.
Anderson was confused. 30-year-old Anderson was trying to find himself. 40-year-old Anderson is like, how did I get here?
No, seriously.
What's going on?
When did this all happen?
Where am I?
It's so true. Was confused.
Yeah. Not sexually confused, guys. Don't get it twisted. Don't get it twisted.
Don't get it twisted.
All right, so here's another statistic here that's
you have the hardest time with that word. Your Brazilian comes out.
I have like a weird voice. I don't know. Is it like a lisp? I guess I don't know. I sound weird. All right.
I mean, I've known you for too long. I don't hear anything. But when you try to say words like this,
I hear.
That's when English is my second language comes out.
I hear it big time. All right, so 40% of new marriages include a partner who is remarrying. So 40% of marriages,
Okay.
one of the partners
They've
their
already been married.
Yeah, they've been married already.
Yeah.
So it might be the person, one of the person's new marriage, but it's the other one's like second or third. 40%. That's high. That's almost half.
Yeah.
That's high.
Interesting.
It says here most marriages, 60%, are first marriages for both partners. But as many as 20% of unions involve one person who has been married before, while another 20% are repeat marriages for both parties. So I guess it's 40% include a partner who is married. So that means either one or both. That's what it's saying here. So 20% of the 40 is one of them is remarrying. The other 20% is both of them are remarrying. So in only 6% of divorces or divorced couples remarry each other.
I'm coming back. Sorry, I need my drink.
So 60% of divorcees remarry each other.
How many percent?
6%.
Oh, I thought you said 60.
No,
I'm like,
I mean,
60% of divorces ended up remarrying each other again?
that would be higher than what 50. Well, yeah. No, I'm sorry. I'm confusing my percentages here. Yeah. So I mean, hey, that's good.
Yeah.
I mean, I wish
like
it was higher, but
higher, but also like that's a like very devastating process to go through, divorce in itself.
Yeah.
And then to like just get remarried again.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to have a certain level of trust and faith now that you didn't have before to remarry the person. Like, you know, being like, I know this is not going to happen again.
Right.
Because we just went through that and I don't want to do it again. But I'm, you know, like, I'll remarry you again because now
right.
I have a trust and a faith in you that this is not going to happen again.
Yeah,
you know?
like say if one person, you know, did something bad, I don't know if it's cheating or whatever,
Lots of forgiveness.
or gambled all their money away, and you know they got divorced, and then the other spouse has to say, "Look, you have to prove to me that you're not going to do what you did again." You have, and while they're divorced, the other one might be doing the work, picking up the kids, doing everything. And showing the other I don't want to say partner. That's the word we hate saying.
We hate that.
The other spouse.
Yeah, just say spouse.
You know, wife or husband, that, you know, they're out. Maybe they got help. Maybe they went through therapy. If like they gambled all their money away, so they went through therapy and they're like, hey, I've been clean for a year. I'm not gambling anymore.
They showed effort.
You know, I saved all this money, you know, and, you know, some effort. Or if there's cheating, you know, look, there are out in the world when somebody cheats. Look, I agree. If somebody cheats, I don't blame the person for divorcing them. You want a divorce? If somebody, the person broke their vows. I think we talked about this. That I don't know, when it comes to biblical, people have different views about this, and I still have to kind of research this to really go in depth with it. There are in Christianity, biblically, some people say, I know the Catholics say there's no divorce no matter what, no divorce. But if one person broke a vow and the other person wants out of the marriage, I don't see how the other person can keep trying to stay in that marriage when one person
they've already made a decision.
Out.
They've already made a solid decision.
Right.
Yeah.
Now if somebody, let's just say, you know, one of them went out drinking and was weak, say the marriage was already kind of like on rocky terms, and one person went out, got drunk with friends, and a girl or a man showed them, you know, attention, and they ended up having an affair, and there was some remorse, like legitimate remorse, right? I would applaud that couple for working it out. working out, because the enemy wants to break up marriages.
Yeah.
Because look at society, look at the kids, look what's happening with kids in this world. And the percentage of kids who end up in poverty or jail or promiscuity, kids out of wedlock because of broken marriages, and that's what the enemy wants. So when one person cheats, the enemy's like, that's it, and if you can work that out and regain that trust when infidelity happened, I would applaud that couple. Now the world, like the red pill, will call the man a cuck. They will call him, a simp.
For staying with her?
They will call him an idiot. Yeah.
For staying?
Right.
Yeah.
But like for me, I would say if she cheated, right, and she showed legitimate remorse and willing to prove to him that, that he can,
that she's
regain
willing
her
to
trust.
do the work. Yeah.
Yeah, do the work to gain the trust back.
Maybe
so
go
they
to therapy.
don't break up. So
Yeah.
they don't break up that family, especially if they have kids, because the kids are counting on this marriage.
So then people would say, "Oh, so only stay together just for the kids, even though you're miserable." No.
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 You want the kids get affected by divorce. They do. There's collateral damage.
Yeah.
But when you stay together, but you don't work it out, but you're staying together for the kids, that's bad.
That's unhealthy. That's not
bad.
healthy.
But I'm saying, if you work on your marriage, regain that trust,
Do the work.
because
Yeah,
you
do
could
the
be,
work.
because they
It's a
could
lot
be
of work. It's a lot of
It
work to
is.
do something like that.
It is. And if they can move past that, what an amazing testimony. And you can help other couples. Another couple could be going through it, and you could help them through that and be like, look, this happened to us. We know it's hurt. We know there's a lot of hurt. We know there's a lot of pain, and if you can work it out, I would applaud that couple, because that is a hard thing to come back from. And I do not blame couples when one person cheats, their infidelity, they split up. I don't blame them.
Yeah, so it's like either
Somebody
way.
broke a vow.
Yeah, and it's, what happened to the TV?
Oh, I don't know.
No signal.
Well, can't worry about it now. Guys, so we what we see I'm looking at my computer right now.
Everything's cool with the camera?
It's still recording.
Okay.
Everything that we see here on the computer is on the TV up there. And it just went out.
It just went out.
So,
well, we've been having issues with
not sure what's going on, so
Yeah.
can't worry about it.
Not
We're
gonna
gonna
worry
keep
about it.
going with this podcast.
Oh
and
boy,
go-
technical
going-
difficulties
Hey,
as
like,
usual.
Like I said, we're beginners. We're still learning, and we're in our living room. We don't have a studio, so give us this follow, subscribe. So one day we can have a lot of subscribers and possibly get a sponsor, so we can build a studio. So
we can do
thank you
something
guys.
else.
Hit the notification bell so you can be alert when other episodes come on. So every Tuesday. Anyways, where were we? Yeah. So yeah, a couple. I would applaud a couple if they worked on their marriage when there's infidelity.
But also understand if that was the final straw. That was it. Because that's a big one. That's huge.
Yeah. I mean, I would never talk to somebody who's been divorced because one person cheated and be like, why didn't you work it out? I would never do that.
Right. Because it's automatically understood.
Or if somebody worked it. What?
My mic just sounded really
weird.
I'm getting weird feedback.
Maybe I'll turn your mic down a little bit.
It's doing like weird. It sounds like robot.
Yeah, there we go.
Okay. I think I'm good.
All
there was
right.
like weird feedback. Anyways.
So now if and then if somebody if somebody fixed their marriage when somebody cheated, I wouldn't be like, can you still
Why'd
trust
you do
them?
that?
Can you still trust them?
Yeah.
No, I would applaud them. Like, hey, you guys worked it out. That's awesome.
Society views that person as weak for staying with the person who cheated.
Yeah,
when you don't know the full story, you don't know the work that the other person has done to prove to their spouse.
Now, if one person cheated and and there was no effort, to prove that your spouse can
change,
trust you,
do the work,
and then I'll be like, you think they're going to do it again? Like, there's no effort here.
Yeah,
he or she is still going out, but yeah.
Was
so
there a video?
We're gonna go to.
Okay.
To the video.
No, I didn't know if we were talking about this because we were segueing to the video. No. Okay.
We'll get to the video. So
got it.
So gray divorce. A gray divorce is a term for those who end a marriage at age 50 or older. So women experience 45% decline in their living standards after a gray divorce, with living standards defined by comparing income to needs. I don't know what needs, maybe like living expenses, I would say. I mean, I don't know what the difference of needs in a gray divorce, but by contrast, men experience just a 21% decline. So gray divorce takes a heavier toll on women's standards of living. Okay, I guess because, if like, say, if she was a stay-at-home mom, and but I guess if you've been married for that long, isn't there? I guess it depends on the state. I guess there's alimony.
Mm-hmm. I'm trying. What's your like?
Okay, so basically,
I feel like you're like in the middle of a thought, and I'm like waiting.
Okay, so all right, let me explain better.
Okay, yeah.
So basically, what this is saying, gray divorces, women who are over 50 years old and end up in divorce, they have a lower standard of living. So why I'm confused about that is because I would think they would get alimony. They're not going to get child support. The kids are going to be too old. Mm-hmm. But maybe, child support. But I understand, not child support, alimony. But I understand if they've been stay-at-home mom, if they got married young and for 30 years they were just stay-at-home, it's hard to get into a good career at age 50 making good money. Mm-hmm. So I guess I kind of understand that. But, hey, there are women in their 50s leaving their husbands too. There are, because there was one video where a woman decided to leave her husband after her kids were grown and moved out. Because she was like, that part of my life is done. Now I want to start a new part of my life.
I wonder what the statistics are with divorce when that they literally just get divorced because the kids are all grown and moved out now. Like they were basically only married to raise the kids. And then like their last kid goes off to college, and then all of a sudden divorce is in play. Like I wonder I don't know. You would think that it's kind of a pretty big statistic because like,
I don't know if there's a statistic out there like that.
Or how many people literally just stay married for the kids, because if you're only married for the kids, then when they're old enough and on their own, you probably get divorced. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
I think that would be bad because if you're going to just stay married but not work on your marriage, I think it could still have a negative toll on your kids because your kids are going to know.
Well, because when you have a healthy marriage, it trickles down to your children, right, and that creates a healthy family.
Yeah.
So if you're literally just roommates because you don't want to get divorced because of the kids, maybe someone's afraid that the other one's going to take the kids from them, or they'll never see the kids or whatever, then that's clearly not going to be a healthy marriage.
Right.
And the kids are going to feel that. They all live in the same house.
And the kids might be like, why? Mom might take them on vacation. Why isn't dad coming? Or dad go on vacation with the kids. Why ain't mom coming?
It's a whole
They might
thing.
notice mommy flirting with some random guy or daddy flirting with some random woman. It's really, I don't see, if you're gonna stay together for the kids, at least try to work on your marriage. I don't see how that would work.
Yeah.
Here's another thing.
If you're gonna put in the time anyways, you might as well put some time into your marriage, see if you can fix a few things.
So here's another thing that it's kind of we didn't fall into this statistic. I think it's because we knew, well, mostly I knew. It says here, couples who live together before marriage are more likely to divorce. We lived together. We moved in together. But we got engaged like a couple of months after we moved in together because I knew.
We had already been together for a long time.
Well, I already knew. But I already knew that moving in with you, I was going to marry you. I already knew that. That wasn't a decision that I decided after we moved in together, or wasn't anything like that. It was before we moved in together. I knew I was going to marry you. I was going to ask you to marry me. So I think that's why we didn't end up in this statistic. But there are couples out there who did, after a year, they decide to move in together, but they're not married.
Well, yeah. And that's a funny statistic because you think that, so they've been living together. They clearly know that they can live together. It's almost like they've been testing their relationship to see if, because I've heard a lot of people say that.
Yeah.
Like, what the, is that the TV?
That's the TV. Sorry.
Anyways, that like, I've heard a lot of people say that like they think that you should live together before you get married so you can see if you can stand each other.
Yeah.
So that's funny that if you live together and like you've been able to test that out, like how are we at living together, at merging our lives together? How are we? And then you get married and then that statistic is...
It's funny that's like a new concept, or it's a new concept where people are like, oh, we got to live together to see.
We got to live together first.
When hundreds and thousands of years, people got married and then moved in together and stayed together.
Now it's like a new concept.
People will be like,
you should live together before.
It was arranged marriages, and people were forced to marry. Look, no, you can go out in the past. Doesn't matter how they got married or not. There were successful marriages in the past. Okay, marriage is not a new concept where people have been getting married for thousands of years, but we finally figured out how to make it work.
Live together first.
These statistics show that we're making it worse. We're making marriage worse.
Pretty much.
We're not making it better.
Yeah.
So I don't care what anybody says here. I'm going to go by the statistics. So if there are statistics that show that if you move in together before you get married, you're more likely to get a divorce. Yeah, you're more likely to get a divorce.
I would say that statistically it's not a good idea.
Yeah.
That's what we would say.
Look, if you're... yeah, it's not a good idea. So...
Yeah.
So what I would...
And it's funny because we did. This is like our point. We did. And here we are like, wow, look at those statistics. That's probably not a good idea. Right. So we're calling ourselves out.
Yes.
Like that could have ruined us. But...
And I'm not sitting here saying, look, if you know, like what I said, I knew I was going to marry her. Now, if you say, oh, I know I'm going to marry her, so let's just move in. Okay, you don't want to do that. You're roommates, and your roommates that sleep with each other. But we want to do things biblically, right? We're more mature biblically. So we want to raise our daughters to do things more mature and biblically and not make the mistakes that we made. Look, it's not like we're going to go to hell because we moved in together before we got married.
Yeah.
Okay. We repented about that. And there are people, we found out about a couple who were living together and they were convicted because they knew they were living in sin because they were living together like they were married, but they weren't married. So they went and got married. All right. And they're happily married couple, very successful married couple. So I'm just saying is that it's just not recommended because you're lowering the chances of your marriage being more successful. Now, if you want to know if you're going to be able to live with this person, go through premarital counseling. We didn't do that, but we're gonna encourage our daughters when they get engaged. We're gonna encourage them to do that. We believe in premarital counseling. because it's true. We learned this at a marriage conference, is that when you get married, it's not all of a sudden things get fixed. Things get fixed. You're a new person.
Marriage fixes things.
Yes, it doesn't. You're still
marriage fixes things. That's a misconception.
September 6th, 2003, I was the same person that I was September 5th, 2003. The only difference is I had a wife September 6th. September 5th, I had a fiance. That's the only difference. But I was the same man, the same guy with the same habits, good and bad that she had to deal with. You know what I mean? So
and vice versa.
Yeah. So I don't know if you're like, I don't know how is he gonna brush your teeth? Why is he okay? Have him bring a toothbrush over your place and have him brush his teeth at your house. I don't know what to tell you.
Let's test it out.
It's just like
the misconception that like, oh, we have to get married and then that's gonna fix everything.
Yeah.
Because literally the concept of just getting married doesn't fix your problems, it highlights them.
Right.
So,
yeah.
And when you're married, now that they're highlighted, now you have to work on them. And if you choose to ignore them, that's where the problem comes in, So
just to let you guys know, I'm getting this from Forbes.com. This is where I'm getting these statistics from. So I'm going to put a link in the comments for you guys so you can look it up yourselves. So here's another one here. This was interesting. We always talk about who you're friends with, who you talk about your spouse with. So I know if I had a problem with Tina and I needed to vent to a friend of mine, I would vent to a friend that's like for my marriage. My friend that's be like, hey, she's your wife. You want to fix this. You want to do good things. And her, same thing.
Same thing.
So this statistic,
somebody that wants to see your marriage succeed.
Right. So this is here, having friends who are divorced increases your risk of divorce.
That's crazy.
Look, I don't want to sound sexist here.
Uh-oh. He's going to say something sexist.
But I think divorced women, misery loves company. So I know if you complained about me about something to divorced woman, they'd be like, oh my God, that's exactly what my ex did. And now we're divorced.
I think that's how the conversation goes. Oh, that's how my ex-husband used to do it.
I think
blah, blah, blah.
I'm not saying a man would do that. He probably would, but I think they would be less likely to do that. I don't think a divorced man would say to me, yo, Anderson, my ex did the same thing, bro.
Right. Leave now.
It could. There are men that could be like that, but I think for women, it's more likely. So what it says here is that the marital stability within a couple's social network also plays a role in whether their union lasts. So couples who have friends who divorce have a 75% increase in the risk of their marriage ending. That's insane. 75% just by having a friend that's divorced. That really sounds like it can't be true. That's insane. That's if it said 20%, I'll be like, wow. That would be more believable, but 75% the same. So even couples with 2 degrees of separation from divorce still have a 33% greater risk. So I don't know. I think, yeah. I mean, like I said, divorced or not, if your friends are divorced or not, if they're not for your marriage, don't talk about your spouse. When you have an issue with your spouse, don't talk to them. Don't vent to them. Maybe vent
not a good idea.
Maybe vent to another. Like for me, I'll probably vent to another man that is also married.
when you're doing something like that, you should be looking for advice,
Right.
not looking for like encouragement to get divorced.
Right.
So
Right.
why would you confide in somebody who's divorced?
Right.
And that's not to say like don't be friends with people who are divorced. It's just
Right.
be careful who you invite into your marriage.
Right.
Because when you are venting to somebody about your spouse or about your marriage, you are inviting them into your marriage, and it could be very detrimental if you have done that with the wrong person.
Right. I mean, if my best friend, I have a best friend, he's single. I know he's for him. He loves us. Mm-hmm. So if anything, if I talk to him about an issue we had, he would be for me and be like, hey, you gotta work it out. But like, if he got married and then got divorced, I want to be like, bro, you're divorced now.
I
can't talk to you because I can't be friends with you because you being my friend increases the chance of it's like you're saying it's contagious. So
it would all depend on how he is now that he's divorced. All of a sudden, is he bitter towards marriage in general? Is he bitter towards all women?
Yeah.
You would have to get a feel. Like, can I vent to this person?
Yeah.
Is it going to be dangerous to my marriage if I vent to this person?
I would say just be cautious.
Yeah.
If my best friend, if he got married and got divorced, I don't think I totally believe that he would not, want to sabotage my marriage to make himself feel better.
Right.
And if I ever talk to him about you, I doubt he would be like, yo, my ex did the same thing, man. And, but I think it's just, you just got to be cautious who your friends are, no matter if they're divorced or not. Mm-hmm. But that's an I've never seen
this. Reading the statistic, that's just going with what the statistic
I've never
says.
seen that statistic before.
Yeah.
That's insane. 75% chance of increase when you have a friend that's divorced. That's insane. Most common reasons for divorce. See. Lack of commitment is the most common reason of divorce.
Not abuse, not
lack
infidelity,
of
not finances.
That is something that you
would
can
that be
work
part
on.
of infidelity? Lack of commitment? Like you don't want to commit to this person?
Well, but I don't think the only way I would show that I have a lack of commitment to you is by cheating on you.
Right.
Like I was talking about earlier. For example, whenever I have free time, I go mountain biking. Mm-hmm. That's it. I don't want to hang out with you. I don't want to have dinner with you.
We don't go out on a date.
I just want to go mountain biking on my free time. Mm-hmm. That's a lack of commitment.
Yeah. Like
we don't
committing to your marriage.
We don't go on dates. Yeah. We don't go on vacation. Mm-hmm. I just work, pay the bills, and go
mountain biking.
I mean, that's a lack of commitment.
Yeah,
or
that
like,
would be terrible.
If you wanted to do something on a Saturday night, I go, I was like, I have plans with my friends, and I go hang out with my friends. That's a lack of commitment.
Well, that's putting your marriage second.
It says 75% of individuals and couples cited lack of commitment as the reason for their divorce. I mean, come on, guys. I want to know. See, this is the thing. It's like, lack of commitment. I'm done. I mean, these are things that you guys need, that people can work on. We're saying this because we went through marriage counseling.
Yeah. We
had issues. Did I think about leaving? No. Did she think about leaving?
No.
Oh, I hope not.
No.
But we had issues. Mm-hmm. And we immediately thought, we got to fix this. What are we going to do? Oh, let's go through marriage counseling. Was it uncomfortable? Absolutely. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's like, but at the end of it, we were better. Mm-hmm. I think we communicate better.
Yeah.
I mean, we still tick each other off.
Well, because we're so good at it.
We're married.
We've known each other for an extremely long time.
But I think we handle it better than we used to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it's like, I feel like that. It seems like when there is a lack of commitment, it's like the other one just throws in the towel and just like, you know what, I give up. Nobody wants to fight for their marriage anymore.
Which
Which
is
easy.
unfortunate.
It's just easy to divorce. It's just easier that way.
I feel like the word divorce is taken so lightly now.
Yeah.
You know, and then like I feel like for a little bit there it was like trendy to like get divorced
Well,
and,
I mean,
and you know, like it was like a flex.
I mean, people talk about it on. Women are talking about it on TikTok all the time.
Well, they have, yeah, people have accounts on TikTok like that are like just solely based on like I'm a divorced woman, and here's why my life is better, and here's why you should get divorced too, and
Yeah.
just do it all on your own.
Like
it's all so toxic.
Yeah, like in the last episode,
toxic.
we talked about how women were like, I forgot what I was gonna say.
The last episode.
Yeah, I totally forgot. All right, let's move on.
Okay.
Maybe it'll come back to me.
We're getting old.
60% of divorced couples cited infidelity as a reason for their divorce. 60%, that's pretty high.
Whoa.
Domestic abuse, 24%. Final straw, causing divorces most commonly infidelity, domestic violence, or substance abuse. Yeah, I can see if that's the final straw.
That's a final straw. That's
Totally
what we were
understand.
basically saying. Like, we would totally understand if one of our friends came to us and was like, he cheated. I already have my stuff packed.
Yeah.
I'm dipping tonight. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? Like, we'd be like, absolutely.
Yeah.
But we also see like how much strength you would have to have, and how much strength your marriage or your relationship with each other, or the love for each other, you would have to have in order to work through something that
Right.
big.
Yeah.
That big. So if you were able to work through something like that and you
Right.
come out on top, then kudos.
Right, yeah.
Big kudos.
Yeah.
That'd be huge.
I think it's yeah. To me, it's like you guys won. Hold on one second.
What? What now? What? What was that?
No, it's just that's the
Editing.
no, that's the wire that plugs into the camera to keep it powered on. I mean, obviously the camera's
it's
working
recording.
because I can see it. Well, it's recording on here, not the camera.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously it's on because we can see it. But I just wanted to double check. I was a little concerned.
That we
All
didn't
right.
record.
So
any
moving
of
on.
that.
So we're gonna go. Let's do the video since we're on this divorce thing. We're gonna do the Reddit video. I mean, the reel, and then we'll talk about the Reddit story, which it's pretty good. Okay, so here we go.
I'm 49 years old. I'm married for 30 years to just the most amazing man. 5 years ago, we took the kids up to the mountains about 3 hours away from home, went mountain biking, and he crashed his bike. Very, very severely suffered a traumatic brain injury. He lost hearing. He's completely deaf. And he has no short-term memory, so we can't even teach him sign language because he can't learn new things. He knows my kids. He knows anything that happened 10 years ago or more, but anything that's happened about 2 years before the accident and anything current, he has no idea. He doesn't remember. He's had 3 kids get married. He has grandkids. He has no concept of space or time or age or distance. All of that part of his brain was damaged. Pretty much no quality of life. He would be humiliated to see what he has become. This is not what he would want. I am considering getting a divorce so that I can move on with my life.
There's no possible way I'm going to sit in judgment of you on any decision that you make. I do believe that you get to choose to feel alive and to be alive in whatever context you find. I also believe that for sickness and in health and covenant, I don't know, still means something.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm trying to think of what my life would be like dating Diane, who's like, no, I still love this guy. I'm linked cosmically forever to this guy. I'm still going to go take care of him every week. I just needed some cover so you and I could hook up. Like, there are certainly men that will take you up on that.
I've talked to a couple friends, and that's what I said. Like, say I go ahead and do this. Like, what guy in his right mind?
Oh, there'll be a line of them, Diane. There's a bunch of just shady people out there. No, they'll be there. They'll be there. They'll be there, no question. But it all comes back to you. It comes back to you.
So
That's a tough one. That's a tough one. But this is why I'm saying, like, you can't take marriage lightly. Like, you can't. You can't. Like, oh yeah, we're getting married because, like, you're cute and I'm cute, and like,
the guy is still,
the stuff you're gonna go through in your life is unknown, and you're saying yes to all of it. You're saying yes to all of the unknown.
Yeah.
You know, so it's hard, but I also feel like you do not know how you would feel in this situation unless you are in this situation.
Right. Right. Exactly.
So this is a hard one to.
It is hard, and I can't imagine what it would be like to take care of your spouse when they can't remember anything a year ago and 2 years ago, and any experiences you have moving on, they're not going to remember. But like he says, there's that vow for better, for worse. And as Christians,
well, I was going to say biblically
and believers, we believe that you can be held accountable. You'll be accounted for your sins. And, God forbid if something like that happened to you and I decided to divorce you, I know I'm going to be accounted for that. God's going to put a
you're going to be judged for that.
God's going to be like, listen, she needed you. You married her. You made a vow and you left.
In front of God. The vows are in front of God.
Yeah. Right. This person who called in, I don't know where their faith is at. They probably don't believe in God. They could be atheists. Who knows? I don't know. I'm just talking about us,
our
right?
Opinion.
And
when she said, "Well, I was talking to my friends," we both went.
This is exactly what we're talking about. You talk to your friends because their friends are thinking about. I don't even know if their friends are married. They could be single, and they could be thinking like, "Well, I know what I would do," but they're single.
They don't know
what it's like.
Like I just said, even if you are married, like, this is something that, like, you do not know the feelings inside your brain and inside your entire being unless this literally happens to you. So there's no real judgment. But if we were to talk about this or think about this biblically, you got married, you said your vows in front of God, in sickness and in health, for better or for worse, and that is all of them.
Yeah.
So it's a tough one, but like I said, when you get married, you're saying yes to all of the unknowns. You do not know what you are going to have to carry each other through. I didn't know that he was going to have to carry me through a very, 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 very sick father for 2 years. I had to watch him die every day for 2 years. Yeah. And I didn't know when we were 12 and 13 that you were going to have to carry me through that. Yeah. And you did. Yeah. You know, it's the unknowns. Like, and when they come up, you can't go, oh, well, no, not that.
Yeah.
Not that. I'm going to go. Like,
yeah, I can't just imagine, like, leaving you if you were sick, knowing that you need me more than ever. And this would be the time I would be like, I am entering. I would. This is what I would have to. This is what I would tell myself. I would look in the mirror and I would tell myself, you are entering a season of selflessness. You can't think of yourself right now. Mm-hmm. Now, would I take some time to myself, after
you would have
dealing with everything? Yes.
Yeah, you would have
but then,
to.
But I would think, I would think in a way like, one day you want to get a boat. That's probably not going to happen, Anderson. Or,
yeah, you would have to rethink a lot of plans you had.
You wanted to take your wife to Greece and Italy, the Amalfi
Not gonna
Coast.
happen.
Probably not going to happen, and you have to deal with that because she needs you right now. And I'll have to enter that season. I'll have to tell myself I'm entering this season. My wife needs me, and I have to get in gear. Mm-hmm. And selfishness is not going to be on the table for quite a long time.
That brings it all the way around to what I was saying earlier. You can't be married and be selfish.
No.
And this is why.
Yeah.
This is why. Like, the amount of, like, focus and attention you have to give to a situation like that you didn't know was going to happen.
Yeah.
Like if you've been a selfish person your whole marriage, of course you're going to want to be like, well, I didn't sign up for this. I'm out of here.
Right. I think a lot of people compare themselves and they might compare their marriage. Oh, look at their marriage. Mm-hmm. Why my marriage not like that? And that's a terrible thing to do.
Don't ever compare your marriage to anybody else. It's hard. Yeah. It's hard not to.
We might see other couples and be like, wow, they have a good, but like, I'm not going to sit here and be like, I wish my wife did that for me.
So toxic.
No, because
toxic.
I'm happy with what she does for me. And that's what I have to look at. That's what I have to pay attention to. I have to pay attention to the good things my wife does for me, not what another wife does for her husband and wish my wife did that. I can't, because I would keep raising the bar for her and she would have to keep, you know, like, okay, there's this new thing I got to live up to. And if she was like that with me, I was like, oh, okay. Now I have to make as much as a doctor now to make her happy. And I'm
constantly
just an electrician.
having to reach unrealistic standards.
Yeah, no, like, we are happy with each other. I mean, I'm happy. I mean, I don't think I've told you this, but, you might not see me react to it, but when I come home and you're at the door, I love that. I love that.
I've got to take a picture and like put it like how you come home. He's got like an armful of stuff because he's got his coffee thermos and then his coffee mug and then his water bottle and then trip. And that he's a one trip kind of guy. He does not want to have to go back to the car.
Yeah, so I might come home.
I go to the door and I meet him and I open up the door for him. He's got his armful of stuff and I greet him, give him a kiss.
Yeah, it's just.
I mean, I love doing that too. I love that I'm home to do that.
Well, I know I come home and I have like this straight look on my face, like, don't bother me. I'm just tired. But in my mind, inside, I'm going, I'm glad she's at the door to greet me.
That was one thing that like I had to learn about you. You don't come home and are like, oh my God, I'm so happy to see you.
Honey, I'm home.
Oh my God,
like
let me
shows.
yeah, honey, I'm home and let me tell you about my day and no, he comes home and way back in our marriage, I remember thinking like, he's never happy to see me. I'm not even kidding. He's never happy to see me. But it's because of like that blank look on your face. Meanwhile, I was clueless at the beginning of our marriage. I'm like not even putting into perspective,
like most of us are,
how much or how long you just work that day. Yeah. And he's always had, pretty much always had a physical job where he's up on a roof or in an attic or in a basement, a crawl space. So I'm not even putting into account, you know, like what his day was. And like, I'm judging how he's greeting me that day.
Right.
You know, like, so I had to, you know, tell myself like, I know he's happy to see me. This is just how he comes home.
Yeah.
This is just
I
how
mean,
he comes
that's
home.
how-
He's very straight faced.
Right.
He says hi, gives me a kiss. You know, he doesn't come home in a bad mood.
No.
And eventually you unwind a little bit.
Yeah.
I've noticed that.
I
Like,
just have to be home.
he just wants to be home. He wants to settle himself, put his stuff down.
I'm telling you, ladies.
know,
I'm telling you, ladies. You create.
this is easy stuff.
You create peace in the home for the man to come home, and there's peace, and you just like, it's like when he comes home. Look, some people might think you're being a slave. You're not. Okay, you're treating your husband because you love him and you care for him. These are the type
And
of
that's
things.
vice versa.
These are the type of things you would do for him when you were first dating.
Because
That's the thing. When women and men, when they're dating for the first time, men always go into their masculine and women always fall into their feminine, right? But then when they get married and they're together for several years, it gets mixed up. Then the woman becomes more masculine and the man's just like, well, this is how she is.
she's filling the role. Why am I? What
You
am I
know,
doing
but
here?
if you look back to when you were dating, you didn't really know who each other were, and you were like, I'm afraid to show him a bad habit of me because he might not like it.
And you're trying to like impress
Right.
each other.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Be like that on your marriage. It's like just what we say, date
Each other.
So little things like her greeting me at the door, and you know, even though, you know, hey, hug your husband. Hug your husband. He's not. He will never ask for it. Sometimes I ask for it. But
He almost doesn't even look like he wants a hug.
Sometimes, yeah.
It's just how he comes
But
home
if-
because he's holding
if
so much on
you-
his shoulders.
If you just hug him or hug his arm, just like what girlfriends do to their boyfriends.
When
know,
you're dating.
Yeah. So you do that. Your man's not going to sit there and go, you know, I'm really liking that you're doing that. Can you do that more? He's not going to say that.
He's
But
just
he
going
likes
to
it.
love when you
He
do
likes
that.
it.
Yeah.
If he's pushing you away, then you got some more problems.
There's something that needs
There's
to
some
be
problems. He's
spoken
not, but
about.
he's not. He's not gonna push you away. You hug him unless he's in the middle of doing something. It's just in the middle of changing the carburetor or the alternator or something like that. Or
That's
yeah,
where you go, the
you know,
carburetor.
I don't know. I'm just
know.
thinking every man's a mechanic.
Every
but
man's under a car.
Don't hug him.
Then don't
know,
hug him when he's doing
But
that.
if he's just
Yeah.
standing there, you know, and he's just talking about his day, you know, yeah, just give him a hug. He's going to like it. He'll hug you back, you know. He might be playful and grab you in a certain spot, but hey, you know what? That's just men. We're playful like that.
I swear, men are all
You
the
know,
same.
But it's just little
we got
things
we
like
got a
that.
little
now,
off topic.
Now, guys, I know.
We got a little off topic, but let's keep going.
Let me just say this before
Yeah.
we go back, just because I don't want the women watching this being like, oh, okay, so just the women gotta do it.
Oh,
what
so
about the
we
men?"
just have to
No.
cater to the man?
Yeah. Guys, if you know that the trash is full, just take it before. I know I don't do this all the time, but what I do,
Oh, what do you do?
I gotta say that because she'll probably call me out. But
Yeah, I'm gonna be like, what were you saying about
this
the
is what
trash?
this is what I do. Okay.
Yes.
I know when you take the trash out of the trash in the kitchen and you put it in the here in our town, you got to put them in green trash. We have regular trash bags and we got to put them in green trash bags, and the dumpster will take it. That's how we do it in our town.
Yeah, because
So
you have
I
to
know-
pay for the green trash
Right.
bag.
So I know we have like this kind of breezeway, kind of porch area off our kitchen that goes into the driveway. Sometimes she'll just leave it at the door. I know to grab it and just put it in the
the
trash
bin.
container outside. I know I just do that. Right. And so she doesn't ask me. I don't wait for her to ask me. I just do it. You know, and just little things like that, guys, you do for and it does go. Look, I noticed it went a long way when we were on a date, when we were at the Colonial Inn, and I could tell on your face when I said your hair looks really nice. I could tell. I was like, okay, this did something, because she smiled like a little high school girl.
Well,
So
I
just
mean,
things
it's
like
something
that.
to get a compliment from a man that you've known for how many? Okay, so we were 12 and 13.
Yeah,
You do the math because I can't.
31 years.
31 years I've known him, and he still compliments me.
You got to.
Almost daily. Almost daily.
You got to.
And I do for you, too. I told you you look very nice today.
Oh, thank
I
you.
do. You're so pretty.
With the tag hanging from my pants. I
Oh
didn't know
my
about.
God. Oh my. Okay. Story time. He goes up to be one of the speakers at the marriage conference. He does his whole thing. I would say you went over 15 minutes.
Oh, did I?
I mean, not a big deal if you did. He said take the time that you need, whatever, 15 minutes or whatever you need. Anyways, it was really good. That night, because he lovingly throws his pants on the floor, right, ladies? Right next to the clothespin, right next to the hamper, not quite in the hamper. Yeah, all the same. And I go to pick up his pants, and he's got a tag hanging off the back of his pants still, because he had just bought them.
Didn't notice.
So I notice it, and then the next morning he comes out and he's holding the pants, and he goes, do you think anybody noticed?
Probably.
And I was, no.
Well, when
because
they
it was
were-
in the back of your
Yeah.
pants and your shirt was over
But
it.
where we were sitting, right? And
Yeah.
then if I stood up, somebody might have noticed, like, this guy got a tag on his pants. Is he going to return them after tonight?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Gonna return them.
Well, they were a little tight, so maybe I will. I don't know. But
No, we're losing
all right,
weight.
So
It's
going
fine.
back, yeah. So going back, we'll go to Reddit store. We're over an hour, but hey,
I know.
Well, we'll keep going. We'll keep going. We never said this is going to be an hour. Who knows? As we
Yeah.
go on, it could be 2 hours. I don't know.
I
But-
like doing the hour ones.
All
That's
right.
like my almost cap off. But
yeah,
go
but
on.
I want to get to the Reddit story. So so that's just going back. You made a vow. You made a promise for us. We not only did we made a promise to each other, we made a promise before God, God our Creator, and God who made marriage, who made this union. He
And
wants us
who
to be together.
will be judging you in
Yeah.
the end.
So-
we believe all of that.
Yeah.
Of course, everybody who gets married, they might not have that perspective that
Yeah.
they did it in front of God, and that their vows were said in front of God, and basically like these are the rules that God says when you're married.
Right.
And then if all of that is broken, you're going to have to answer to him in the end.
Yeah. Well. Yeah.
Not everybody who gets married has a Christian perspective on it or a religious
No,
perspective.
they just look at the legality.
Yeah, the
of-
legality of it, and
Yeah.
the binding of a
Yeah.
marriage, binding
Legal
you to-
binding, yeah.
legal binding.
Which is a lot of reasons why a lot of guys won't get married. 'Cause they don't look at the legality of it. They don't look
Right.
at like there is benefits.
Yeah.
But yeah. So
Yeah, that's a whole other podcast.
right, that is
That is a whole
we
other
can definitely
podcast.
go through that. All right, so I think there's some more statistics here, but like I said, we're gonna go on to this Reddit story. I'm gonna put the link in in the comments, so you guys can go to that and look at all the statistics yourself. So this Reddit story, let's get right into it. So all right, here we go.
Let's see.
All right, this one says, I opened up a secret bank account that my husband doesn't know about.
I gotta move over.
Right
'cause
away.
You can't see me.
Right away, I would say that's financial infidelity. That's
Well,
financial infidelity. So,
right away I go, trust issues.
right, yeah. I
Uh-oh.
mean, there is infidelity when you cheat on somebody, emotional affair or physical affair. But then this is financial infidelity. So let me read on. So my husband, 45 male, and I, 33 female, have been married for a few years and have 2 beautiful children together. Our marriage has been going well so far. So he comes from a wealthy family and has a high-paying job. I, on the other hand, came from a very poor family and needed to use credit cards and student loans to stay afloat and get a reasonably paying job. He is the attorney and I am a paralegal, but have been a stay-at-home mom since our youngest was born. Before we got married, I was paying my debts aggressively. When we got married, I closed all of my credit cards and bank accounts because we opened up a joint account, which is, what you should do when you get married.
That's
You become,
our opinion.
You become one.
You become one.
So one bank account, one, kid together, so.
Yeah, you created a human together. You should be able to have a bank account together.
Share one bed together.
One bed, one house.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, all right. So okay. Now I lost my space. All right. Now I'm feeling like I made the wrong decision closing all of my savings and checking accounts. What if something goes wrong? I will have nothing. For that reason, I opened up a secret bank account for a rainy day. I used the spending money that he gave me to open up the account.
You're using
Update. So all right, we'll do the update after.
Do the update after.
We'll do the update. Let me bring it down so nobody reads it.
Shit, don't read it.
So
You go first.
we're not getting the whole story, but he either did something.
Yeah, why all of a sudden is she like crapping a brick?
Right.
All of a sudden she's like, uh-oh.
Yeah, he either did something.
Something happened.
Or she's been talking to some friends.
So toxic if you're talking to the wrong friends that have gotten in her head and are like, what would you do? If it ever hit the fan, you would be screwed.
I mean, everything seemed like it was going good. I mean, he's an attorney. She was able to stay home when they had their kid. Mm-hmm. A lot of women that's a lot of women's dream. Once you have a kid, stay home and raise your kid. Yeah. That's a dream. Mm-hmm. And she was paying off her loans, her credit cards. Yeah. Obviously with his money, which is his money is her money. Mm-hmm. If she still worked, her money would also be his money.
His money. Combined.
So it doesn't matter.
One income, one household.
Yeah, one income, one household, or two incomes, one household. Doesn't matter. The money is both. I don't know when she says I opened up an account with the money.
It's his money.
Spending money that he gave me. I don't understand what this spending money. I don't know if they budget and that's just like. I don't know if they have a budget. They could have a budget where a lot of people budget where it'd be like, okay, bills, gas, groceries, and, paying off debt if you have debt. Mm-hmm. And then, savings. And then here's what you can spend on whatever you want.
We literally have like a coffee section in our budget.
And we blow through it every month.
Yeah. Yeah, just stopping for coffee.
We're still working on it.
We're working on it.
So anyway, I don't know if that's what that is, or I mean, they have an account together, so I don't understand money that he gives her.
It's probably just cash. Like he probably takes out cash so he can have cash, she can have cash, and she's been putting it in this account or putting most of it in this account. This is something that like just baffles me. Right. And if you are someone who is married and you have separate accounts, go ahead and put in the comments why. People say like, oh well, because she pays the electric bill and the oil bill, and I pay the car bill, and you know what I'm saying. And
you
it's
can
like,
still do that with a joint account.
You can still do that out of the. I don't understand if her money's over here and your money's over here, and this is going to the electric and to the water, and this is going to the phone and the sewer, or, there's the mortgage payment somewhere or whatever. Right. Then if both of these were right here, it would still be going to the same bills. Yeah. So I do not understand that you can trust this person enough to marry them. You can trust this person enough to create little humans. You can trust this person enough to live with them, possibly buy a house together. Yeah. But you don't financially trust this person. This is
Yeah.
like, I feel like there's a disconnect there.
Yeah, because if you're, say he gives you money and you're using this money to open up a secret bank account, you might think that's okay. That's money he gave me. I can do whatever I want. But you're opening up a secret bank account. There was another story of a woman who did the same thing. But the thing is, they were struggling. So he got hurt. And she did work for a while. But then when he got better, he says, look, he wanted to take care of his wife. He says, look, I want to take care of you. I'm better. I do have to work several jobs, but I'd rather work several jobs if that means you can stay home. Okay? And she was like, fine. He suggested, why don't we downsize? And she was like, no. Right? That was like
It's
a
about making
non-negotiable.
the
That was a
sacrifices.
non-negotiable for her, right?
People won't
So
make the sacrifices. Yeah.
So he was like, fine. It would be a lot easier on him, but he decided I'm gonna work several jobs then. But this whole time, she was stashing money away, and she had about $40,000. This guy was working his butt off to get themselves out of debt, to get them into a better situation, and she was
Stacking
sitting
cash
on $40,000 that she kept putting away. It was his money that he was working. Yeah, it's her money too.
Yeah.
But she was doing that without his knowledge, knowing that she could have used that money to help him so he wouldn't have to work so hard. Instead, she put that money away just in case she wanted to leave him. So when she told him about it, obviously he got upset. And then when she told her mother about it, her mother, who is a divorced woman, when she told her mother about it, her mother said, this is why you made the bank account and you should leave. So her mother is saying, you took money from him and didn't tell him about it and made a secret bank account. And because he was hurt by it, you should leave him.
Yeah.
Makes no sense. So let's get back to this one.
Well,
so
yeah,
there's a lot of plot holes here.
It's a very short
Right.
account as to what happened here. First off, when this happens with social media too, you're getting one side.
Right.
Okay, and a lot of people fail to remember that.
Right.
We're so used to everybody's got their own accounts, on Instagram and blah blah blah. So you're just seeing one person's account to the situation. So this is what's happening here, and it's also very short. So it's missing a lot. What was it saying about? I'm trying to like stay on camera, but like my eyes are so bad.
I was gonna read the update, but if there's another question you have,
did this say something about talking to? No, that was the video.
Yeah.
Talking to her friends or whatever.
right? Yeah.
I'm getting like I'm getting like the video and the Reddit mixed up.
All right, so
yeah, go ahead. Update.
I told him, and it wasn't a big deal. He agreed that it's a good idea to have a safety net. This is what I want. So he basically like, hey, it's a good idea to have. It's a good idea to have money just in case you want to leave me.
Just in case you want to leave me. I mean, is he thinking the same thing? Like, I could potentially see this marriage not working, so you might need something.
I don't know. It says here. I don't know. I don't know. I mean,
oh my goodness.
I don't know why. I don't know. Maybe she's lying. I don't know, but
I know about the update.
I don't understand how a man. I don't know what kind of man would be okay with that. I don't know if I would be okay if you told me, hey, I have a secret bank account you don't know about. I've been putting money in there just in case our marriage fails. My automatic response would be, why do you think our marriage might fail?
Right.
That would be my automatic thing.
You cannot label this situation anything else than an issue with trust. And that's why I'm like, okay, it's missing a lot because it's like, okay, so what happened that you all of a sudden thought you needed a secret account?
Yeah.
What happened? Did you try to fix it? Like, and now she's saying like, oh, he's totally cool with it for like, just in case I want to leave.
I don't know.
You don't have anything else that you could use $40,000 for or whatever you're saving. I mean,
yeah, I don't. At first, I was thinking, I don't know if she saw that he was flirting with someone and he might
and
be
she
having
was
an affair.
like, just in
but
case.
she brought it up to him.
Okay,
She
so
brought it
then,
up to him.
so then this brings it back to what we were talking about before. You clearly have an issue to fix. So there's an issue here. You're gonna sit on it, and so far, this is the decision you've made after noticing this issue.
Yeah.
That you need to have a getaway fund to be able to leave your husband. Not, hey, I think I'm seeing some issues here. What would you think about sitting down with a marriage therapist with
Yeah.
me? Or just, can we talk? I don't...
Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
the fix. The fix is, I saw a problem. I'm not going to address it. Instead, I'm just going to make a just in case.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
I
weird.
just having this safety net. Look, some people could be like, well, it could be like a prenuptial agreement. Yeah, I mean,
Okay, then do a prenup then.
Well, they can't because they're married already. But
Well, yeah.
for me, a prenup is like, say, if I was a famous basketball star, right, or football star, right, and
would've
then
been football.
we met, and and we were gonna get married. I've already made millions before I met you, and I have all this stuff. Maybe I started some businesses, right? Now, all this money I have, these businesses, it's also going to be yours. But you didn't build it. I'm going to share this with you because I fell in love with you and I want you to be my wife and start a family together. So what's mine is yours, right? That's how marriage is. Okay, guys? Mine is hers, hers is mine.
Yep.
So,
Sharing
but
is caring.
but I would come to you and say, listen, just a protection, and it's also going to protect you. I want to marry you, but I want to have a prenuptial agreement. Now, prenuptial agreement, both of us would have to agree on it. It's not just what I think.
Yeah, this is what
It's not just-
people. It has a bad rap.
It's not just what I think. It's not me saying, you sign this saying, if we get divorced, I just give you 10 grand. No.
Clearly, I wouldn't agree to that.
I would have a lawyer.
Yeah.
She would have a lawyer.
Yeah.
And that's how we decide together.
To make it
So we
fair.
would decide. If I say, hey, the business is mine, but you can have, I will give you, 10 million, and then an extra 2 million for each kid or something like that. I'm just throwing out a number.
Millions.
That way I don't have to pay child support. She has 2 million for each kid, so she can help her take care of the kid when the kids are with her. Right?
That's what people don't understand
So,
about a prenup.
right.
Is that it covers both people. I think it has a bad rep because they
Right.
think that it's the guy just trying to cover himself
Right.
and in the end be able to screw the woman.
Right.
When it's like it's the complete opposite of that.
Or she could come back, and be like, well, can I have 2.5 million for each kid?
Instead.
And
Yeah.
and I'd be like, all right, fine. Then
You write it all
she
up.
gives it to her lawyer.
Yeah.
Her lawyer gives it to my lawyer. Her lawyer gives it to me. I agree with it. Then we meet together, her and I, with the two lawyers. Then we sign it, file it away, forget about it, get married, and then act like it never
even
happened.
happened.
Because now I feel better about marrying my wife knowing that she wants to be with me. Because she could sign that. She could sit here signing that. We're going to do this, but it's never going to happen. But if this is what makes you feel better because I came into your life when you already made all this stuff, to me, it's like, this is her proving to me that she loves me and the money is just the cherry on top for being with me, and being with me is more important. So that's what that would show me. That's why guys who have millions and want a prenup, that's all they want. They want to know that this woman they're gonna marry is just marrying them because they love them, not for the money. The money is just extra. The money is just the bonus. I met the love of my life and he's rich. That's awesome. You know? But yeah, so
going back to the thing, I think it's like opposite in this is like if she didn't, you know how you were saying like the prenup is like he just needs to know that you're, you know, marrying him for the right reasons, and both people, nobody's going to get screwed in the event of anything.
Right.
You know, but with this, it's like not having the secret account would show him
right
that you trust him, that you trust the marriage, and that you're invested in the marriage. Having a scapegoat is like,
right.
How is your spouse going to think that you're invested in a marriage that you have a just in case you want to leave me fund?
Now,
I don't get it.
How big is this just in case going to grow? I don't know how old they are.
Yeah.
Let's just say they're 30 years old, right? 30 years later, they're still married. I mean, how big is this account? Is it just going to sit there forever? What if they're 70? That's 40 years. That account's still sitting there?
So I wonder what the cap off would be. Like, oh, so if we're 60 years old and you haven't left me yet, what do you want to spend it on? You want to go on vacation?
Then they go on vacation.
They
spend it all, and he divorces her.
I don't know, man. It's
so the bottom line is here. What we're trying to say: if there's someone who's making a secret bank account and getaway fund, there is more going on in this marriage than just somebody worried about divorce. If you're worried that there could be a divorce, there's an underlying issue that you need to work on with your spouse.
Don't just create an account and then never address the problem.
You need to work because
that's probably not a good idea.
Marriage is for life. When you get married, there is no just in case. There is we're married for life. Mm-hmm. We're in this together. We're gonna grow together. I always think people should marry young in their mid-20s, early mid-20s. Mm-hmm. Find your spouse young. Marry young. Build together. Have your kids in your 20s. That way when you're in your 40s, you can enjoy your 40s and your 50s without running around after kids. There are people having fun in their 20s and 30s, having kids in their 40s. Mm. Oh my God, I couldn't imagine having an infant right now. I couldn't. I could not. I'm not saying have them young like we did at 18. No, that's
we
too
were a
young.
little young.
Come on, in your 20s.
Little young.
We have the other two in our 20s, and the youngest is 15. And we don't have to really worry much. We can just go out on dates and we're having fun. I mean, we know people who have young kids in their 40s and they can't go out like us.
I mean, more power to you.
I rather have young kids when I'm young and have more energy. Mm-hmm. That way, when I'm older, I'm not chasing kids around. I mean, build something together. Build something together. If you build something together, she's there because she's seen you when you had nothing. Mm-hmm. And she's with you when you have nothing.
She's in it for the long haul.
Yeah, she's in it for the long haul. That's how I see it. I know a lot of these red pill guys are saying, work hard, build your empire, and then when you're rich at 35, then find a wife. But then on the other hand, they're saying all they want is us for our money. Okay? But that's what you're doing. Yeah, you're not dating when you're broke. You want to date when you're rich, and then you get mad that women only want to be with you
for your money
because you're rich. That's the thing with the red pill. It makes no sense. Marry when you're young. Marry a nice girl. Mm-hmm. Right? I'm talking about from a good family who has a strong father, mother, comes from a 2-parent household. Those girls are usually more level-headed. Same thing with the boys. And it's just you want somebody that comes from a good family dynamic like you. If you're toxic, get with a toxic person.
Oh, yeah, great advice, honey.
Anyways, hey, that's episode 4, guys. Thank you so much for hanging in there with us. We really appreciate you guys. Follow us on Instagram and on TikTok. I'll put I think I already put the handles on there and post credit. So, and post edit. Sorry. So, but be sure to like and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you know when the next episode is on, which is usually on Tuesday. But hit the notification bell anyways. That would definitely help us out. So episode 4, we're trying to grow. So first year of doing this, guys, and thank you for still hanging in with us if you're still watching.
Thank you for those that have shared videos and shared our link. And
Yes.
It's funny because social media has been around for so long. I just think that so many people don't actually know how it all works.
Yeah.
And you don't actually know how big that is.
Right.
The range of people that you can reach when just 1 or 2 people plus yourself are sharing something.
Right.
So
and
thank you.
Give us a comment, whatever it is. Just give us a comment. Say hi or good job or bad job. I don't know. Just give us a comment.
Terrible.
Just give us a comment, guys. All right. See you guys next time.
Peace.
Peace.